Alright, so this is Caesar 4.27. And basically the Romans have just beaten the Britons in battle, and this is kind of the aftermath after the surrender. So the enemies, having been conquered in battle, which is this phrase, and then simul means as soon as they themselves recovered from flight, they immediately sent negotiators of peace to Caesar. So then, starting off with an indirect statement, they promised that they would give hostages and do whatever he ordered. And so the imperator here, which is talking about him ordering, is a syncopated version of impera viset. And so that all in total is, like, both of these phrases are the enemies having been conquered in battle. As soon as they had recovered themselves from flight, they immediately sent negotiators of peace to Caesar. They promised that they would give hostages and do whatever he ordered. So, together with these negotiators came Commius Atrebus, and Atrebus is referring to where he is from. And so came Commius Atrebius, who I had described earlier having been sent into Britain by Caesar. Now, if you pay attention, something kind of cool happens here, because Caesar refers to himself here, demonstra verum, in the first person, saying, um, who I had described earlier, and then he says, had been sent into Britain by Caesar. So in the same sentence, he's referring to himself both as I in the first person and Caesar in the third person. And so the I is basically him as the narrator, and the Caesar is him as the character Caesar in the actual Gallic Wars. So that was, together with these negotiators came Commius Atrebus, who I had described earlier having been sent into Britain by Caesar. So, having departed from the ship, when he was reporting the orders of Caesar in the manner of an ambassador to them, they arrested him and threw him in chains. So it's basically saying Commius came over as like an ambassador, but the Britons then proceeded to arrest him. So then, with a battle having been made, which is ablative absolute, they sent him back. And seeking peace, which is a gerundive, they transferred the blame of the act onto the crowd, or the common people, and that's referring to the common people of Britain. So, and they sought that it be pardoned on account of their ignorance, basically saying that they didn't know they weren't supposed to arrest this person. So, Caesar, having lamented the fact that, and then it's cum here, which here means although, so Caesar, having lamented the fact that although, moreover, they had sought peace from him, the negotiators, having been sent into the continent, they had waged war without a cause, which is here. Then He said that he pardoned them for their ignorance and demanded hostages. And those hostages would be referring to people such as Commius, who was arrested. So all of that, again, was Caesar having lamented the fact that although, moreover, they had sought peace from him, the negotiators having been sent into the continent, they had waged war without a cause. He said that he pardoned them for their ignorance and demanded hostages. So, quorum here means of which, and that's referring to the antecedent, the hostages. So, of which they immediately gave a part to him, and a part they said that they would give to him in a few days, having been summoned from remote places, which means that it's going to take a few days to get the hostages to him because they're quite far away. And the reason this is such a big deal is because people such as Commius and other hostages were probably relatively important figures in Roman society, and that's why they were taken hostage in the first place. So, meanwhile, they ordered their own, and then people as understood. So, meanwhile, they ordered their own people to return to the country, and the chiefs began to assemble from all sides and began to entrust themselves and their citizens to Caesar. And so, an interesting word choice here by Caesar, entrust, which is kind of making it more personal and saying that they're putting their full faith kind of in Caesar. And so, this final bit again would be meanwhile, they ordered their own people to return to the country, and the chiefs began to assemble from all sides and began to entrust themselves and their citizens to Caesar. All right, that's all of 4.27. Thanks. Hope it was helpful.